Hello there, my name is Balofin. Here is the world news. Here are the headlines of the news. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called for solidarity with Africa in the fight against COVID-19 and recovery from the pandemic. President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria meets former President Jonathan and calls for resolution of Mali's political crisis. Nigerian Army buries Army Chief Ibrahim Tahiru after plane crash. UN Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Israel at the start of Middle East tour. India passes 300,000 coronavirus deaths as mass graves found along Ganges. In entertainment news, Olaboye Balofin, aka Four Lines, out with a new album. Behind the scenes video goes viral. Nigerian entertainer Atorishe gets Lexus truck as birthday gift. And sport news, Chelsea is the Champions League winner and beats Man City. Here is the main news. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called for solidarity with Africa and the fight against COVID-19 and recovery from pandemic. United Nations chief criticized the total lack of international coordination in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic and warned that the go-it-alone policy of many countries will not defeat the coronavirus. Secretary General Antonio Guterres said in an interview that the needs to be done is to make countries understand that by acting in isolation, they are creating a situation that is getting out of control, and that global coordination is key. COVID-19 started in China, moved to Europe, and then to North America, and now South America, Africa, and India, he said. And some people are now talking about second waves coming in a moment.
Said that Africa's rich and diverse cultural and natural heritage is important for sustainable development, poverty reduction, and building and maintaining peace. It can provide a strong foundation for inclusive economic progress and as the continent strives to meet the challenges posed by the COVID-19. In order to end the pandemic, support economic recovery, and achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, the Secretary General said that we need to ensure equitable and universal access to COVID-19 vaccines. The latest figures show that to date, African countries have received just 2% of the global vaccines.
President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria meets former President Jonathan and calls for resolution of Mali's political crisis. The President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, has urged disputing parties in the ongoing political crisis in Mali to settle their differences and unite for the peace and unity of the country. President Muhammadu Buhari made this call at the presidential villa in Abuja, while receiving his predecessor Goodluck Jonathan, who currently serves as special envoy and ECOWAS mediator to Mali. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, disclosed this in a statement titled President Buhari, Jonathan Confers on Crisis in Mali. The statement read, President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja called on the actors in the political crisis in Mali to come together for the peace and unity of the country. Nigerian Army buries Army Chief Ibrahim Tahiru after plane crash. The funeral took place in Abuja amidst tears from relatives. A somber day in Nigeria during the funeral of top-ranking Army Commander Lieutenant General Ibrahim Tahiru. The burial in Abuja comes a day after he and 10 other officers died when their plane crashed in the bad weather.
God, the big one, oh, you go. Man, man, man.
The Army Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atairu, was appointed by President Muhammadu Buhari last January in a shake-up of the senior command to better fight surging violence and a more than decade-long jihadist insurgency. Atairu was in charge of leading the frontline offensive against Shekau in 2017. Nigeria's military has been battling an Islamic insurgency in the northeast since 2009, a conflict that has killed more than 40,000 and displaced around 2 million more. Abuja Bureau Chief Correspondent reports.
Yesterday, 21st day of May 2021, was a very sad day for the armed forces. One of our finest and best pilots was conveying him along with the entourage. After landing at Kaduna International Airport, the cold hands of death, which manifested in the stormy weather, ended that journey. The war against insecurity must be won. Truly must be won. All we ask of you is to keep praying for us.
Atairu died as news emerged that Nigeria's Boko Haram jihadist leader, Abubakar Shekau, had himself been seriously wounded or possibly killed after clashes with a rival Islamic State allied faction. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Israel at the start of Middle East tour aimed at shoring up the Gaza ceasefire. Blinken, who landed in Ben Gurion International Airport early Tuesday, is the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit the region since President Joe Biden assumed office. He was welcomed on the tarmac by Israeli Foreign Minister Gabi Ashkenazi and other officials. A Nigerian governor, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, marks 2 years in office. The appraisal of Lagos State government. MDA's gives report for 2 years activities report under Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration. Afolabi Ayantayo, Special Advisor, Parastatal Monitoring Office, gives appraisal of achievements of Lagos State. Lagos correspondent reports.
Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration marked its 2 years in office, and all MDAs, ministries, parastatals, and all government concerns were all out to reel out their achievements in the past 2 years. And myself, as a special advisor parastatal monitoring office, I partook in that program where we reeled out some of our achievements as an office. The parastatal monitoring office was established in 1986 by the then military administration to coordinate the activities and monitor the activities of all parastatals that were in existence then, about 26 or so. And the office was established as a unit of one of the ministries, especially Ministry of Works. And it was their duty then to go all out to see to the day-to-day activities of parastatals and agencies of government throughout the state. Now we have 101 agencies, companies, organizations that are directly and partly owned by the Lagos State government that are involved in rendering services from distribution of food to provision of water, electricity, all aspects of human endeavor in Lagos State.
U.S. imposes restrictions on Ethiopia and Eritrea over Tigray conflict. The U.S. State Department announced visa restrictions for Ethiopian and Eritrean government officials and members of security forces over atrocities tied to a months-long conflict in northern Ethiopia. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also announced that the U.S. has imposed wide-ranging restrictions on economic and security assistance to Ethiopia after parties to the conflict in Tigray have taken no meaningful steps to end hostilities. The U.S. will continue with humanitarian assistance and other critical aid to Ethiopia, including health, food, education, human rights, democracy, and other areas. President Biden administration will continue with its broad restrictions on aid to Eritrea. Prior to taking these steps, the Biden administration had repeatedly called for the immediate withdrawal of Eritrean and Amhara forces from the Tigray region and asked for the African Union to help resolve the crisis to no avail. In Ghana, Ghanaians protested unemployment, corruption, irregular power, water shortage, illegal mining, a poor educational system, among other things, with the Fix the Country campaign. President Nana Akufo-Addo had a brief interview where he addressed some of the issues being protested, including his administration's plan to attract foreign companies to Ghana. Ghana correspondent reports.
The word pride is not the word I would use. I mean, am I satisfied that we've been effective? And I would say that yes, a lot has been done, and it's reflected in Ghana's growing position on rankings on corruption in the world. We've gone up several notches since I came into office because we're dealing with these matters at a basic level. For instance, the institutions that are there, the anti-corruption institutions of our country, when I came into office, were very poorly resourced. You can talk all you like about corruption and inveigle and make all the wonderful statements, but if the instruments at your disposal for dealing with it are weak and blunt, you will get no result.
Celestial Church pastor worldwide, Pastor Emmanuel Oshofa, opens more churches in Nigeria. A correspondent reports. And from India passes 300,000 coronavirus deaths as mass grave found along Ganges. India has been overwhelmed by a surge of COVID-19 deaths, with the toll surpassing 300,000 as the country battles its second coronavirus wave. Hundreds of bodies have been found buried on the banks of the Ganges, India's holiest river. Local said cabs have also been washing up on the embankment for several days. Critics said that the bodies found along the Ganges showed a discrepancy between the reported death tolls and the actual numbers. Our India correspondent reports.
The death rate has not decreased even now, in spite of the positivity decrease, because it takes about another 5-10 days time, because there will be a lag between the incidents and the occurrence. So definitely, I am in the hope that definitely within by the end of 3 weeks, definitely we'll come to a near normal.
President Joe Biden hails Israel-Hamas ceasefire, sees genuine opportunity to move forward. U.S. President thanks Netanyahu for bringing end to Gaza fighting. backs Israelis' right to self-defense and promises to replenish Israel's Iron Dome interceptors and stop Hamas ramming. US President Joe Biden speaks about a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas and the cross hall of the White House. The White House correspondent reports.
Prime Minister Netanyahu informed me that Israel has agreed to a mutual unconditional ceasefire to begin in less than 2 hours. The Egyptians have now informed us that Hamas and the other groups in Gaza have also agreed. In my conversation with President Netanyahu, I commended him for the decision to bring the current hostilities to a close within less than 11 days. I also emphasized what I've said throughout this conflict. The United States fully supports Israel's right to defend itself against indiscriminate rocket attacks from Hamas and other Gaza-based terrorist groups that have taken the lives of innocent civilians in Israel. The Prime Minister also shared with me his appreciation for the Iron Dome system, which our nations developed together and which has saved lives of countless Israeli citizens, both Arab and Jew. I assured him of my full support to replenish Israel's Iron Dome system to ensure its defenses and security in the future. Over the last 11 days, I spoke with the Prime Minister 6 times. I've also spoken with President Abbas of the Palestinian Authority more than once and part of our intense diplomatic engagement. And I want to also thank the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, our National Security Advisor, and everyone on our team for their incredible efforts to bring this about, this outcome that we're about to see. The United States committed to working with the United Nations, and we remain committed to working with the United Nations and other international stakeholders to provide rapid humanitarian assistance and to marshal international support for the people of Gaza and the Gaza reconstruction efforts. We will do this in full partnership with the Palestinian Authority, not Hamas, Authority, in a manner that does not permit Hamas to simply restock its military arsenal. I believe the Palestinians and Israelis equally deserve to live safely and securely and to enjoy equal measures of freedom, prosperity, and democracy. My administration will continue our quiet and relentless diplomacy toward that end. I believe we have a genuine opportunity to make progress, and I'm committed to working for it.
In another development, drone footage showed the destruction left across Gaza City after 11 days of fighting between Israeli and Palestinian militants as the Israel-Hamas ceasefire held into a 4th day Monday. The truce was brokered by Egypt with support from the United States Friday. Palestinian officials post reconstruction costs at tens of millions of dollars in destitute Gaza, where medical officials said that 248 people were killed during the aerial bombardments and fighting. Israeli medics said rocket fire and a guided missiles attack killed 13 people in Israel. Entertainment news. Olabuye Balofin, aka Four Lines, out with a new mega music. Behind the scene video goes viral. London Bureau reports. Nigerian entertainer Atorishe gets Lexus truck as a birthday gift.
èmi dúpẹ́ fọba ògo oore bàbá ṣe fún mi ọ̀pọ̀ mi ò lè sọ tán mi ò ní yàrá ìmọ̀re ọpẹ́ mi pọ̀.
To end the news, here are the main headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria meets former President Jonathan and calls for resolution of Mali's political crisis. Nigerian Army buries Army Chief Ibrahim Tahiru after plane crash. UN Secretary of State Anthony Blinken arrived in Israel at the start of Middle East tour. India passes 300,000 coronavirus deaths as mass graves found along Ganges. In entertainment news, Olaboye Balofin, aka Four Lines, out with a new album. Behind the scenes video goes viral. Nigerian entertainer Atorishe gets Lexus truck as birthday gift. And sport news, Chelsea is the Champions League winner, beats Man City.